Welcome to episode 34 of Miami Masterclass. I'm Ian. In today's episode, we are going to run through the month of May 2019 after we had a relatively decent start of April. We did go 14 and 12. Before we go, just a little something. Casey Salters has got a diagnosis pending, so he could be out for quite some time. We will get that diagnosis probably in the next couple of days, if not today. So when I go to sim the next month, we're probably going to get stopped quite quickly. This was probably going to be a news article about him being out for months, knowing our luck, which I'm not too concerned about. There you go, we have got the injury diagnosis, out for 4 days. Is that it? Honestly, 4 days? I wouldn't have even bothered mentioning it. But I'm not too concerned if we do lose him, because we do have Schwarber in left field as well. So Schwarber does seem to be playing catch-up, but I wouldn't be too surprised if the manager actually put Almonte in left field to keep Schwarber as catcher, because Raul Muto doesn't seem to be playing at all. Ruben Tejada, he's getting a little bit getting itchy feet. He wants to be playing all the time. I'm not too surprised about that. He has been pushed out. Just have a quick look at the standings, because I haven't really been paying too much attention. Look how tight it is there. And the Mets are way out. What is going on there? They've just lost 8 in a row. Yeah, look, talking about Tejada, I'm not too surprised that he's getting a bit edgy. I mean, he's not playing at all. We've got players like, I will put it on batting stats so you can see what I'm talking about. We have got like Joe Panic playing at second base, which is Tejada's position, but Panic has been playing very, very well. Castellanos, he's struggling a little bit. Same with Profar, actually. I expect Profar to improve slightly. But look, as soon as one of them's injured, Tejada's going to come in, so I'm not too upset about that. But look at all these players on hot streaks. That's certainly what we like to see. I'm so used to seeing the little frozen icon to tell you that they're in a cold streak. Look at that, we lost one game and we slipped 4 spots in the standings. Unbelievable. We have a winning record and we're sitting 4th. How's that? What about this for a division? I mean, this doesn't help my chances of getting a new contract by winning a World Series when we're winning games and we're still not even leading the division. But the good thing is it does mean that we should be able to secure a wild card if this sort of form continues with all the teams. As this month is zooming through quite quickly, and there you go. Commentator's curse. I spoke too soon there. And how long? Schwarber's out for a week. Again, see, I'm not too concerned about that because players like Raul Muto will step up as catcher. Saltis obviously still left field, and we've got Almonte as a backup in that regard. So as long as we don't lose Raul Muto to injury, we should be all right. We'll keep going. Not a great deal going on, is there? And we'll get to the end of the month. We'll sim another week. We'll sim all the way up to the draft, like I've done for the last few years, just to spread out the time on some of the episodes, because normally when I do the draft episode, it goes for like 40 minutes, and I don't expect you guys to sit there for 40 minutes. I mean, I record it and think, yeah, this is excellent, and then I upload it and I think, yeah, you know what, 40 minutes is ridiculous. I wouldn't watch 40 minutes, but you know what, I'm waffling because we are actually doing very, very well. We're 29 and 19. We're only 1.5 games ahead of Atlanta. That, obviously, as we all know, can change. And, I mean, Philadelphia are only 4 games back. So we do have a little bit of improvement to do, but let's have a quick look at the player development report. Aaron Blair, look, he's coming on leaps and bounds. Finnegan, he's dropped ever so slightly. Addison Reed, not doing much either. Nick Castellanos has actually improved. There you go. Look, his power rating and his defensive rating at third base has improved, so that's very, very promising. Kyle Schwarber, yeah, Nick Whitgren, that's interesting. He's improved down in AAA. Jack McPherson, he keeps improving, this guy, but does he deserve a spot in the lineup? I don't think he does. He's a bit average. He's not a bad, got good catching ratings, and his contact and his gap power, they're above average, but nothing grabs me. I mean, he is in AAA this year, and he's batting .238, so I mean, he's still quite young. He's got age on his side, so he could be one for the future. Avery Romero, he's another one that's improved. He's down in AAA too. Putting up all right numbers, nothing sensational. I believe he was in our team last year. certainly made 31 starts for us last year. I don't think he was in the team for the entire year by the looks of things. But he was putting up solid numbers. But with Joe Panic, Ruben Tejada, and don't forget we did have Altuve at one point as well. He found himself surplus to requirements. Anyone else that really stands out? We've got a lot of single A players here. Austin Shenton seems to be improving as well. Now, when did we get him? We picked him in round 9 in 2016. And yeah, look, he's doing okay, isn't he? I mean, very early days in 2019, but he's putting up solid numbers. His ratings need to improve, but he's got fairly good defensive ratings there. That looks about it. Jeremy Avale, he's improved as well, a starting pitcher. I mean, he could be one to watch for the future. I mean, our head scout hasn't given him much of a chance. His potential rating looks like he's going to sort of reach his potential here. He's one possibly to watch. I mean, his control needs to improve. I'm not expecting too much. I mean, but if he does sort of make it into AAA, in the next couple of years, possibly. He's got a little bit of improvement to do, but yeah, I mean, if he reaches his potential, then as it stands, he's not going to be much. But I'm going to be quietly. He's one of those ones to watch, but not to study. Lucan Baker and Jose Garcia, shortstop. I've heard of his name. Now, when did we get him? Oh, he was that free agent signing. There you go. I do remember signing him, and he hasn't done much, has he? Real speedy guy, good defensive ratings, but not a lot there to look at. So, a so-so player development report. That brings the end of May to a close. We will have a quick look, actually, at the players' stats for the month. Where are we? Split. We do want to have a look at May, don't we? Aaron Blair, 540. Otherwise, look, everyone's putting up solid numbers. I did say that Taylor Jungmann his ERA would start creeping the wrong way eventually, but still at 307, you cannot complain about that. But Brandon Finnegan and Adam Conley have been certainly doing very well. I'm so impressed with everyone. Even Damien Magnifico, I mean, look, he hasn't had a winning decision, but he's only had one losing decision. Hasn't lasted a great deal of games, has he? So we must be sort of just out hitting the teams, like they score 10, we score 11 type thing. But, I can't be too disappointed with him at the moment. He's certainly one to watch. In terms of the bullpen, though, we've certainly improved, haven't we? I mean, Addison Reed, he's the only one that's really struggled. I mean, Pedro Baez, Yimi Garcia, I picked up both of them from the Dodgers. They've been putting up very good numbers. Justin DeFratis, not disappointed about that at all. Same with Dan Slania and RJ Alvarez as the closer. RJ Alvarez had a bad April from memory, but he's certainly improved. And Addison Reed, yeah, look, Addison Reed needs to improve slightly, but I can't really complain about him either. In terms of, look at that DeFratis. I've just noticed, look at his Ks to walks, 10.5 Ks to walks. That is brilliant. I mean, if he keeps that up, I don't think we can lose, can we? So we look at the lineups for the month of May then. So Raul Muto has made a few more starts because we did lose Schwarber briefly. Batting average is very, very poor. Ops plus right down there, so I'll expect a bit more than him. CJ Cron, he seems to be hovering around that 240 mark. AJ Reed, though, look, he's up there around 300. AJ Reed could be one to really watch for the future. I mean, we again picked him up in the Rule 5 draft from Houston. I really like this guy. I mean, I think he's perfectly suited at the moment as a backup for Cron, but, if Cron gets injured, I'm not going to be concerned at all. We've got a really good squad of players here. Joe Panic, 262. Ruben Tejada, when he's come in, he's done very well. He did very well in the month of April from memory as well. Let's have a quick look. He put up decent numbers, admittedly from not many starts. So he did go 375 in 21 plate appearances, and then we go back to May, and from 38 plate appearances, he batted 400. So he's certainly pushing for a spot in the lineup. Castellanos, 218. I expected a little bit better from him. Profars finally seems to be getting a few hits under his belt. Kyle Schwarber, probably the standout after McCutcheon. I mean, I'm going to get to him in a minute. Even Casey Salters, look, 365. Casey Salters hasn't started every game because he was injured for those few days, but I'm really pleased with Salters. He's sort of come in and taken over from Schwarber. I think Schwarber's probably perhaps struggling a little bit being catcher. I mean, I say that, he's obviously just done a fantastic month of May, but he could improve ever so slightly, I think. Because, I mean, his ratings are through the roof. He does strike out perhaps a fraction too much for my liking, but I expected perhaps a little bit better than him over the last few years, because when you look, he hasn't been putting up amazing numbers. In 2015, he did very well, and then he's sort of just hovering around that 250 mark. Hasn't been doing anything too flash, but this year his batting average is up. His on base is almost as good as his 2017, but nowhere near as good as his 2015. So, yeah, look, I can't really complain. But Casey Saltis has been doing very well. Almonte, look, I think he's doing that sort of platooning role, being the switch hitter. He's a perfect batter for that. Try saying that when you're drunk. Because he's a switch hitter, so he can sort of come in whenever anyone is tired or slightly fatigued or injured or whatever the case may be. And, again, he's another one that's putting up very, very good numbers. Devin Belaski, he's made quite a few plate appearances. For someone that I really didn't think was very good, he's not doing too bad. Again, he's one of those guys, I mentioned him in the last episode, as soon as we send him down, we're going to lose him. He's doing all right. He's holding his own, and I'm quite pleased. And Mazzara's really dropped off this month. That's unfortunate. 192. I expected a little bit better from him, but he seems to be on a real decline, doesn't he? Ever since we picked him up in 2017, his numbers have been going down and down and down, and he's actually got a minus WAR for the first time in his career, so particularly in the majors. So that's a minor concern. But again, we've got players like Almonte, a switch hitter, who can play right field. He's not much of a step up over Mazzara, to be honest. I mean, he certainly has no power, but he could step into that role if Mazzara suddenly falls off a cliff, which he seems to be doing at the moment. So I'll have a quick look at the news, and then we'll sim through a week. Doesn't look like there's anything that needs to be looked at that I want to talk to you guys about. Do have the All-Star voting to begin, but we don't have anything to mention there. So I'll sim up to the first year player draft, which will only be 4 or 5 days, and then we'll call it quits. I will have a quick look actually at the first year player draft in this episode, but we're doing very, very well, aren't we? Look at 32 and 20. If we can sort of keep that form up, we haven't got the best record in the National League. That falls to the Dodgers. So we will have a quick look. So here's the National League voting for the All-Star game. Andrew McCutchen at centre field. I mean, he should be ahead of Jock Pederson, surely. Jock Pederson batting 328. Ops of over 1,000. What about Kutch? Come on, Kutch. Where are you? What are you doing? Oh, that's why. I mean, Kutch is putting up fantastic numbers. Okay, he's not as... his numbers aren't as good as last year's, but they're still fantastic, particularly for us, because we haven't had a good centre fielder for quite a while. Not knocking players like Almonte and Ben Revere, but we've been really struggling in that department. That's our only... Oh, no, sorry. There you go. I'm so used to not seeing anyone on the list that we actually got another one. We've got a Profile that's just squeezed in at the number 3 spot. I don't think he's going to get in, but he's actually got an injury diagnosis. So there you go. So Tejada could be playing anyway. I mean, so again, he's having a very poor year. When you look at his ratings and his stats aren't anything flash, are they? So maybe this injury, as long as he's not out for too long, particularly as we've been very lucky with injuries at the moment. So hopefully we don't... that's not a sign of things to come. In terms of the team chemistry, not a great deal's changed. Everyone seems to be getting on. That's all right. There you go. Yeah, Profile last week and reported everything was going well in the locker room, so that's always good. I think last year that kind of may have been one of our problems, because we tended to be just struggling. We had a very young squad, but I wondered if perhaps our chemistry wasn't quite there. Let's have a quick look then at the first year player draft for tomorrow's episode so we can get straight into it. We are picking 15th. In terms of the players, is there anyone that really stands out? I mean, we could be here all day looking at these. Players like Tony Stokes, look, he's got very high work ethic, got power potential and contact potential and K's potential. He's going to be huge. He wants 9 million. He'll probably be gone by the time we get down to him. And then you got players like Coy Joyce, got low work ethic. Logan Sawyers, he looks quite good too. What about K's potential? Anyone else? Then you got like centre fielders there, Jose Archuleta. This guy could be good. Doug Gordon, left fielder, his contact potential's right up there. He's got good power. His K's potential is very, very good too. So he could be a real possibility. Although he's out of high school, so they're always a bit of a risk. Yeah, it's quite a few batters. I mean, last year's draft was very, very poor. This one looks like it could be quite good. Let's have a quick look then at the pitchers. Players like the shortstop here, Camarera. He's got shortstop, but he's obviously been a pitcher at some point growing up. He's got great stamina. Stuff needs a lot of work. Again, looks like the pitching draft is quite weak. No one really sort of stands out, particularly when you look, because there doesn't seem to be very many at all. This could be a very, very weak draft for pitchers by the looks of it, because it doesn't actually look like we've even got any. It helps if we go all pitchers, doesn't it? I'm on all batters. Righto, ignore all of that and let's start again, as we've now got some superstars. So we'll go back to control. Hector Hernandez, yes. There you go, Joe Steele. I mean, I love that name, Joe Steele. How good is that? Very high work ethic as well. That's always promising. And he's got quite a good repertoire of pitches there. So actually, you know what? I mean, this guy could be good. He's got very low intelligence. I might skip on Jonathan Hall, but I mean, he could be one to keep an eye on. Ricky Major. Now, I like this guy, Ricky Major. He looks fantastic. So yeah, look, there does seem to be a very good draft, actually. I mean, it shows exactly what I know. Eric Taylor, look at him. I mean, low work ethic, but if any of those numbers come up, he could be really, really good, although he needs to develop a couple more pitches, I think, to stand any chance in the majors. But yeah, look, I mean, I take it all back. This looks like a very, very good draft, so we should be picking up some real star players in the draft, hopefully. But that brings a close then, so I'll just have a quick look at the standings, because it did look like we'd actually just lost to the Dodgers. We're still 6-4. We just lost like the last 3, but 6-4. As long as we keep playing over 500 ball on average, we'll be happy. We're 1.5 games ahead of the Braves. We're still sitting pretty at the top of the standings, which that's always a promising start for us. We're actually the second best record after the Dodgers, who obviously just beat us, and we've actually got the third best in the entire MLB. I mean, Baltimore's way out in front there with 40 wins. So, yeah, look, this is a promising start. I mean, Adam Conley's putting up good numbers. Same with Youngman. McCutcheon's still sitting up there. So, this is looking good. I'm positive. I'm ready to go. And hopefully you guys are enjoying it too. So we'll see you again in a couple of days' time with the next episode, which will cover the draft and June and possibly a little bit of August as well. Thanks for watching, guys.